That's a thing?
Yeah, you don't know that song?
I've never heard that one.
Everybody hates me. I'm gonna eat some worms.
Go eat worms.
Can you guys tell me what that? Can you tell me what that's from?
No.
There was a thing. There was a book, and I think it was like an animated thing.
Is this like a Judy Blume thing?
Like I just know it from like the playground.
Yeah.
I don't believe in playgrounds.
Down on the playground streets.
Yeah,
I don't believe in playgrounds. They can't.
I wasn't raised on playgrounds. I only went to work grounds.
Yeah, I started at the work site at age 4. So my playground was steel girders,
like a real American.
High. Yeah, I built this land.
you know personally
On rock and roll. Or is that just the city?
It was just the city. The land was tilled with country music.
Ugh. What's up to all our sidekicks and henchmen out there in the Geek Nation? You're watching / listening to, probably just watching because I'm not going to make an audio version of this, Thunder Round video. It's your midweek dabbling into Thunder Rounds where we review for 60 seconds a book of our choice or a thing of our choice, an experience of our choice. I'm here to tell you about Losing My Virginity. I'm going to review it in 60 seconds. I'm just kidding. With me this week is Noel.
Hi, I'm here. Would the review include the actual act of you losing your virginity? Because I figured that would be like half the timer, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say 30 seconds to lose my virginity, the other 30 to review.
I'm gonna review it. Yeah.
Like that was pretty good. That was awesome.
Yeah. And then I still had 28 more seconds to fill. So I did it again. I lost my virginity twice. Also with us is Brian.
Hey. Yeah, I'm here, and I'm going to review a book just as the format of the show requires.
Yes! All right. Who
Low
wants
bar.
to go first? I'll tell you. It's Noel.
It's Noel.
Okay.
What you doing?
Hi. I want to talk about today Once and Future number 9, written by Kieran Gillen with art by Dan Mora.
All right. Show us that. Let me see that cover, dog. Okay, you see an arm and there's a skull and there's a bunch of other skulls. That shit's spooky.
Oh, there's a skull with some skin on it.
Ooh, skinny skull.
It's not a skull with skin. It's a helmet / mask face cover.
Gotcha.
Like a warrior thing.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
There's 60 seconds on the clock. Go.
So the original 6 issues of this story had to do very much with a reimagining of the King Arthur Knights of Round Table kind of thing, coming back to modern times with magic and otherworld and craziness. I was wondering after those first 6 issues how the story would kind of like evolve past that conceit while still kind of keeping it in the background. What they've done is they've taken other fables or things in public domain or popular fiction from the past and kind of incorporated into the book. So these past couple issues have dealt with Beowulf and Grendel and creating these interesting ways that they are related to Arthur and Merlin while that's happening in the background with Galahad and the other knight, kind of your back and forth of this. The writing is still on par. It does get very intense and kind of in the weeds of if you don't know about these cultures or these pieces of literature, then you might get lost. However, it's done in such a way that it doesn't talk at you or down at you.
In the round.
It wants you to rise to the occasion. It's great art. Always great art. Yeah.
You know, I've never really thought of combining or seen anyone combine like Beowulf and Grendel and the King Arthur mythology. It makes sense though.
It's done in an interesting way where you still have the greater King Arthur kind of plot, but somebody that might be Merlin kind of introduces these other strongmans or threats to aid in Arthur's quest. So it's the potential of like taking any of these characters from wherever they are and kind of repurposing them as bad guys or big bads for Arthur's kind of quest, which is really, really cool. Yeah.
Did you guys ever read the there's like a little white version that was so common around, it's very thin, Beowulf story. I'll tell you what, it was written a real long time ago and I know it's like translated and whatever, but it was really good. Like it was engaging. I read it I was curious. I never had to read it in school, but a bunch of my friends did. And so later on I picked it up and it was cool, as was Eaters of the Dead. I don't know if you guys read that one. Oh yeah,
I'm uncultured.
It's cool. It's Michael Crichton. It's one of his early books, it's a little dry in the beginning, I thought, but I was young when I started, so you might not feel that way now. The idea is that Beowulf is a real thing that happened, and there was a guy from an Arabian country that is exiled, and he has to go up there, and he becomes part of the story. And like, it's pitched as though they discovered this manuscript, that it's fake, but that they discovered this manuscript that tells the real story of Grendel and Beowulf, and it's, you know, a little more like real world, and it's a good book. Yeah.
How many dinosaurs are in it?
How many dinosaurs? There's a dragon in Beowulf.
Like,
that counts.
Do you mean like metaphorically? Because if like they're really old, then we can call them dinosaurs colloquially.
I mean, it's like the oldest English language story, so the whole thing's a dinosaur.
The entire text is prehistoric. Yeah.
Brian.
Hey.
You're up next.
For a thunder round.
Yes, cacao.
Oh wait, you didn't do it for mine.
I know, I'm sorry. No, thunder round. Really
cacao. All right, Brian, what are you doing?
All right, so I'm doing Gunland, issue number 2.
Uh-huh.
There it is. That's a picture of it. What's that?
By whomst?
So it is the original lettering for this version is by Vanessa Nascimbene and Officine Bolzani.
Just the lettering?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what it says. Supervised by Leonardo Fabia, English translation, layout, and editing by Mike Kennedy. I wonder who did the original, who wrote it. Hey, you know what we were wondering last week or last time where it was from? It was in Milan, Italy. So, yeah. I could see it, kind of. And one more thing before we start the clock.
He's like, I want to start the clock.
It's coming. I say it's issue 2, and you remember last time we were all like, hey, it just kind of dropped off at the end. Well, the first page number on this volume is 55. So pretty sure that it was originally published as one volume. Yeah. So, all right, let's start this thunder round. So it was really good. The art continues to be, and aesthetic continues to be like one of the main things that grabs me. The story has not picked up that much yet, but it's intriguing. There was a thing with these Moloch skulls in the last issue, and they had some kind of power. And now we find out that one of the brothers that we thought was dead got the Moloch skull power, and he's apparently immortal. And the other guy can send things to other dimensions, and that's how he got this girl that he has adopted, right? And she's hanging out with the fastest drawing bounty hunter in the West, this blue-skinned, green-haired lady, and she seems like a lot of fun. She teaches the kid to shoot, so it's one of those kind of montages, and that's a good time as well. And I'm intrigued where it's going to go. And like I said, the end of round.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Good look.
Great.
Yeah, it's got a cool little like alternative, weird feel to it. You know, and I like that kind of thing.
All right. Well, JD, you're up next.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? I'll tell you. I'm doing.
Oh, do you want us to time you?
DCeased, Hope at World's End.
All right.
I'm just going to talk about the whole series, I guess. There's 5 issues. It's a digital first. It's a DC Digi first.
Digi-first.
Which looks like this issue is number 3. It's got a Wally West flash cover by Domenico. I believe is his name. Is that his name? Carmine Domenico, yeah. And then the one that just recently released was issue number 5. So I'm gonna bring that up. Have you guys read any of this DC stuff?
Just the first 1 or 2 that we read for the show.
Yeah, I read the first one, and I realized I don't really like digital. Only the format, like the half-page format, because it's like 30 pages. It's really 10. Yeah, like it was. I didn't like the experience, but I liked the story, so I was kind of waiting. But it sounds like I need to just get over it and read these. Yeah.
All right. Who's ready to find me?
I am. You ready?
I'm ready.
And go.
All right, Noel, you got to get over it and read this book because DCeased, Hope at World's End is fantastic. It is just as fun as all the other DCeased books, but each issue focuses on a different character and segment. So issue number 3 was the Flash family, where you had Max Mercury and Impulse and all that sort of stuff. And it's all of these characters dealing with what's happening with the zombie virus, the anti-life equation that's been going on. This is a lot of fun. And this last issue, number 5, actually got me choked up. There's a scene that happens between Damian and a character who is revealed that I won't spoil here, although I just gave you a hint. It is really, really good. And I like Damian's. I like seeing Damian in the Batman suit, even though it's like a tiny version of the Batman suit. It's fantastic. Every issue of this is great. It's got different artists on every issue, and I highly recommend it, even if you don't usually go for digital books. Although I assume they're going to put it out.
End it round. That's all.
You said Max Mercury and Impulse were in it. Is this like what continuity is this in? Are they back?
The DCeased continuity.
Right.
It's
is it sort of like mostly current, but whatever they want to put in there is in there?
Yeah, because Wally was regular Wally.
Right.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping at some point. So like they keep doing these DCeased books. I was kind of hoping at some point like the original, the in-between, the digital, and the sequel will all just be in like a big old collection eventually.
I hope so.
So I was in no real rush to read it, but it sounds like I should. So I will. I really enjoy them.
Oh, that's a cool Batman look too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Every time I open, I'm like, oh, I guess I'll read DCeased, and then by the time I'm done, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I read that DCeased.
Did you finally get a chance to read that Free Comic Book Day for X-Men?
No,
the one with the Tom Taylor short story in the back.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm going to for the podcast this Sunday at 10:30 a.m. where we'll be live streaming the Spoiler Alert podcast where we review this week's books.
Yeah. The only reason I bring it up is because like Tom Taylor having his own playground, it looks like he's going to get to do that in Marvel.
Max says Damian makes an awesome Batman.
We have a live comment. Excellent.
Nice.
Your face makes an awesome Batman.
Thank you.
Hang on. While we're here for 2 minutes, and no one else in my life other than JD, I can talk this about with this.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Amazing Spider-Man by JMS?
Sure.
J. Michael Straczynski. Can we talk about that for just like 2 minutes?
Do you want to do a thunder round?
Sure. Yeah,
Great.
sure. I'll do a thunder round of 37 issues of a volume. Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, can I get it? Let me get it.
Go get it.
All right. Hold on. Are we live?
Oh, he's gone.
Are we live? Okay.
This episode is brought to you by Wrap Snacks.
In the sense that they are giving you the
energy
that you need to keep going.
Sour cream with a dab of ranch flavor.
Oh.
Migos. There's a place. There's a little bodega, I guess, down the street, and I like to buy whatever Wrap Snacks they have on hand because each flavor is more delicious than the previous flavor.
Really?
Yeah.
What happens if you rebuy a previous flavor? Does it get more delicious the second forward? That's awesome. Yeah. Wow, that's great.
All right, Noel.
So wait, hey, hang on.
You got 1 minute.
Can I say what it is first?
Nope.
No.
All right, let me say what it is. I'm not going to listen. So this is the first volume of The Amazing Spider-Man by J. Michael Straczynski. It's set up in 2 volumes. His historic run that started with whatever and ended with One More Day. This volume
started with whatever.
Yeah, it started with issue 30. Like there was no. Yeah. This collects issue 30 through 58, and then they renumbered at that point to 500 to 514. So it's what's 28 plus 14. That's how many issues this is.
All right. I'll tell you what, Noel, you can talk to me about J. Michael Straczynski's Amazing Spider-Man anytime. You know, it's not just JD. I'll chat about that.
Well, this is my first time experiencing it because I jumped into comics as an adult during, especially Spider-Man. I never read Spider-Man other than Ultimate.
All right.
But during Civil War, I jumped into this. So the only thing I had read of his run is The Other, a little bit of Back in Black, and obviously One More Day. And then I started reading Brand New Day. Right.
Okay. Which was good.
I liked it a lot.
500?
Huh?
Have you read issue 500? Now you've read the whole thing?
Well, this only goes up to 514. This goes up to 514. The second volume of this is 515 all the way through One More Day. So it includes all the Civil War stuff, Back in Black, The Other, and One More Day.
Sweet.
All right, so that's what this is. So let's do it. So
wait, no, I just added a minute.
Oh no, we added a minute. It's cool. It's a big one. So
damn it. Hold on.
Oh, technology.
Wait. Thunder round.
So I picked this up because everyone talks about this being one of the greatest runs that just petered out. And I was only familiar with what happened afterwards, Brand New Day and stuff. But I did hear about people complaining constantly about how Peter was perfect with Mary Jane and their marriage was great and him as a teacher was fantastic and the stories that they were telling were supernatural but fun and like it was all this stuff. So I wanted to read it for myself. This became like hard to find, so I just picked it up at JD's shop, which was located wherever it is anyway. The way that J. Michael Straczynski writes Peter's voice is phenomenal. Like it's this ADHD kind of stream of consciousness that is happening at all times that really makes sense with how he interacts with the world. And it's something that I had not really read before. It's just him being cute. But this actually kind of gives it purpose. Him as a teacher is fantastic.
End of round.
It's good.
We can keep going though.
This does. It's a wonderful interpretation of the character that even though I like what's happening now with Spider-Man or has since, this kind of version of it is lost. Him as a mentor, as a teacher. Now he's more of a student again.
Well, it's especially funny to go from that, and then you think about what happens a little bit later, where all of a sudden he's like a 12-year-old who's got a boy crush on Tony Stark for Civil War.
Yeah.
Well, that's towards the half of this run, the second half of this run, right?
It's just weird that he starts off as that particular type of character, like a mentor and a teacher, and then he becomes almost like a teenager who's looking up to Stark.
Yeah, and like around the same time too, halfway through this run is when the new Avengers starts. So arguably, it's the first time in like modern Marvel history that Spider-Man is considered a big hero, a top tier.
Yeah.
So I presume that his whole kind of reaction to all of it, like even though he's crossed paths with these other heroes before, which actually does get into this in issue 500, he's still considered that dipshit that hangs off on roofs and eats hot dogs. Like,
and he was a kid when everyone else, like when everyone started, he was a kid. And
even though he's
Tony Stark mentor thing, he's a sciencey guy.
Yeah, but this is great, and this volume ends with Sins Past, which is the arc.
Which one is that?
It's the Mike Deodato art of Norman Osborn impregnating Gwen Stacy with twins that grow fast and want to kill Spider-Man.
That story. Yeah.
So here's the problem I had with it. I had heard about it, and I Gwen Stacy had had twins on the sly with Norman Osborn, and they were born. Yeah, it essentially was. They were like, she disappears for one summer.
Yeah.
And just like has some kids in Paris and then leaves, and then before she could tell Peter, she gets killed by Norman.
Yeah.
But I was okay with that for just on the surface. Illegitimate children, things happen. Whatever the reason for the story is, I'm willing to go with it. Just the idea of like someone's not allowed to have kids out of wedlock as bad. That didn't bother me.
I thought the Norman Osborn part was bad. Not the out of wedlock part.
Me too.
Yeah.
But only because of the way that they chose to do it, not the mechanics of it. It is high drama, and it's a conflict for greatest enemy to sire with heroes.
Oh yeah, that was my issue.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's fine. As a conflict, that's fine. But the way that they chose to do it in this, they removed all agency from Gwen Stacy. She wasn't drugged. She wasn't coerced. The only explanation that's given as to why she sleeps with Norman, and they make a point of it being the first person she's ever been with, and her and Peter never being together before,
right,
is because one time he seemed so sad, but still so strong, and she couldn't help herself.
Mm.
That's the explanation that's given in this fucking book.
Yeah.
Not that she had a moment of weakness, not that he drugged her because he's a fucking villain.
Right.
Not that she had a crush. They don't go anywhere into mildly describing why she would make this impertinent decision that's against her character. Just, I'm a girl and he seemed like he needed guidance or help. Like, it was so fucking infuriating. And I hated it.
Yep. That is a huge stain on J. Michael Straczynski's run on Spider-Man. I thought it started so great. I really liked the beginning of his run. Even though I think like even the first episode is just, or the first issue is just him talking about his suit having pockets.
Yeah.
I remember just thinking how it was like really funny. I found it genuinely hilarious. And but then by the end I was just like, oh man, what are you doing? What's happening? And then that led us into One More Day, which was also terrible. But then, as much as I disliked that, I kept going, and I really did appreciate Brand New Day. And there was a lot of really cool, fun, interesting stuff in that.
That wasn't him anymore, right?
What?
That was somebody else, right? That was Dan Slott?
It was a team of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had like a brain trust.
Okay. Yeah. Was that the other was the... where he gets more into who was that guy? The guy that also had spider powers, and it's the more mystical side of like
Ezekiel?
Yeah, that stuff was fun. It's definitely not standard Spider-Man, but I enjoyed it. It was a cool thing. And issue 500, I think I remember when it came out, we agreed on this, JD. That costume, the like future costume where it's the jacket.
Oh yeah, with
that is some
collar.
Cool.
Yeah. Ezekiel gives him that too. Actually, issue 500 was fantastic. Just the idea of him being thrown into the past and has to travel through the past into the present. So it was just like a plot mechanic that gave a greatest hits of all his craziness. Yeah. Like a version of him was in the past and a version of him was in the future, and they had to meet in the middle, which was really cool. But yeah, the last 6 issues of this almost 40 issue volume is just. Again, like the conflict on paper makes sense. It's not been done. It's pretty interesting. What would you do as somebody you revered and thought you knew everything about? What would you do if you found out a different truth that didn't include you? How would you react? Somebody like Spider-Man is perfect for that because he always tries to be the most altruistic that he can be, the best version of himself. Sometimes fails, but otherwise, it's a great conflict for that character. Yeah. The way they did it was just a smack in the face to just women in general, let alone somebody that's dead and can't actually describe it to themselves, like for themselves. Yeah. It was just really weird. It felt everything before it was everything before those issues were so thoughtful that it felt like a sore thumb more than a mistake because it was just like instead of poking you in the eye, it was just a thumb that was slowly pressing the whole time. Yeah, it was like. Ugh. So I'm excited for volume 2.
Yeah. It's also that like it's like you mentioned, like it's an interesting conflict and it's cool. I think it might be better if it was somebody we didn't know but that Peter knew, because now like comics characters have a different sort of existence than we do, and you can kind of forget about things, but that's in there now. Is like, oh, Gwen Stacy's character is forever changed because this guy decided to do this conflict.
Well, they've ignored it.
Yeah, which I think is wise.
I think they brought, so at the end of it, so it's twins, Norman Osborn's kids. It's twins. They age rapidly. Spider-Man saves the girl. Mm-hmm. And who
looks exactly like Gwen Stacy.
Exactly. Yeah. He saves her with a blood transfusion, and the male Gabriel takes the green goblin serum and becomes crazy, and then washes up on shore somewhere. I think I had read that he shows up as a side character in like some sort of Carnage miniseries. But as for actually using these characters, no, they just
Yeah.
What a bummer.
Yeah.
But, like I said, I still want to. I want to read the rest. I do remember the other fondly, and I like introducing all the Ezekiel stuff here in this volume, like literally issue 1 of this volume. I was like really excited to reread that when it comes out. I did like Back in Black. Only because even though at the time I thought I remember reading it being like, oh, okay, so this is the same as every other time that May's been in danger. Cool, I guess. I still enjoyed reading it. So I'm really excited getting through it. And then maybe after this, they'll start to oversize collect all the brand new day stuff, which would be really fun to read again too.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I appreciate all your Thunder rounds.
You got it. Thunder round.
Can
I give a shout out? I mentioned it in our chat, but that comet that's visible now, I plan to check it out tonight. Comet Neo-Wise, and it's visible, and it's apparently really cool and really bright. So if anybody's interested, give a look. It's right after sundown, and through next Friday, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. And don't forget to join us this Sunday at 10:30 a.m. where we'll be live streaming the Spoiler Alert podcast where we review this week's books. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We'll talk at you later.
Wrong show. No.
They're all the right